Boy, we just watched two heavyweights go at it. We watch number 7 UConn Huskies go down in the South Carolina number 4 ranked team in the nation and end Dawn Staley's 71 game win streak at home. Azzi Fudd dominated the third quarter. But we'll get off into all that next here on the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Man, guys, we just witnessed a game today where we saw UConn just dominate South Carolina on their home floor. And that ended Dawn Staley and the South Carolina Gamecocks 71-game home win streak. Now, that game from start to finish, UConn had control of that game from start to finish, man. I don't know what South Carolina was on today. They really couldn't buy a bucket. I mean, UConn jumped out on them early, and they were just pure dominant for the whole game. And they said Paige Bueckers said some things at halftime to really get UConn going coming out in that third quarter, because whatever she said in that locker room, Azzi Fudd must have took it personal, and Azzi Fudd went on a scoring binge in that third quarter. Azzi Fudd dropped 18 points in that third quarter, man. She was spectacular. Now, we all know what Azzi Fudd is capable of doing when she is healthy, but everybody is really scared of her injuries, because that's what's holding Azzi Fudd back is injuries, man. But she looked totally healthy today, and when she's healthy, we see what Azzi Fudd can bring to the table. I've been in a recent past and said if Azzi Fudd was available against Notre Dame, I think they could have pulled that game out against Notre Dame because Paige Bueckers was out there on an island all by herself. But tonight, Azzi Fudd didn't disappoint, man. Azzi Fudd scored 28 points, and number 7 UConn ended number 4 South Carolina's 71-game home win streak with the 87-58 victory on Sunday. Now, Sarah Strong, she added 16 points and 13 rebounds for the Huskies, who had lost their past 4 to the Gamecocks. Paige Bueckers had an all-around game. Paige Bueckers showing why she's worthy of that number 1 pick in the WNBA draft, where she had 12 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds. And UConn took control late in the opening quarter and was up 22 by halftime, right? Uncharacteristically, defending champion South Carolina could not respond and lost for the first time at home since North Carolina State beat the Gamecocks 54-46, dating back to December 3rd of 2020. So they haven't lost at home since 2020. That's almost a 5-year run, right? Now, Fudd followed up a career best 34-point performance win over St. John's this Wednesday by torching the Gamecocks. She had 6 of UConn's 13 three-pointers, including 4 in the third quarter to close off South Carolina hope of a comeback. Now, Azzi Fudd was spectacular, but like I said, Paige Bueckers, she showed why she is a complete player, and she has a lot of tools in her tool bag to work with. Paige Bueckers was spectacular. Even though she shot horribly from the field, she shot 3 of 12 from the field, but she had 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists, man. She damn near had a triple-double. And this game right here, UConn just put belt to ass on South Carolina, man. And, coming into this year, we always talked about South Carolina, their chances of repeating. South Carolina is going to, take a few losses, but they're going to be right there at the end. They're another Final Four team. I think they get back to the Final Four, but UConn, they didn't suffer some, tough losses. They suffered loss to USC. They suffered loss to Notre Dame. But UConn is always going to be in the mix. Gino Auriemma, he got this system that, goes around Paige Bueckers. But when Azzi Fudd is out there, it just makes everything seem easy for Paige Bueckers. Now she got her backcourt running mate where she can, handle the ball. She can play off the ball. and Azzi Fudd can, benefit from what Paige is out there doing. Paige is out there just orchestrating the offense. You see how Paige, even though she shot terrible from the field, 3 of 12, Azzi Fudd was the one that was hot, and she got off to a hot start in that third quarter, and that just, that put the game out of reach. But they was already up 22 at halftime, and they just completely dominated South Carolina. Dawn Staley had no answers, for Paige Bueckers or Azzi Fudd. Sarah Strong, when you got your big girl Sarah Strong out there on the wing and on the perimeter hitting threes, man, that's going to be tough for any team to beat, man. And I just felt that UConn figured it out today, man. They played a well-balanced game, and they took the fight right to South Carolina on their own home floor and took the crowd out the game early. Now, South Carolina went on a run middle of that second quarter to close it out before halftime. They went on a 7-0 run. Gino Oriental called a timeout. Outside of that timeout, UConn responded to go on a 10-0 run, and they went up 22 at halftime. And they just completely dominated South Carolina from start to finish. You got to tip your cap to Azzi Fudd. When she's healthy, she is spectacular. Like I said, Wednesday night against St. John, she dropped in a career high 34 points. She followed up today's game with 28. And let's take a look at the box scores, man, and see how all the women did. Basically, Sarah Strong, she played 31 minutes. She had 16 points, but she dominated on the glass. She had 13 rebounds. Now, also, like I said, Azzi Fudd, 28 points. She chipped in with 5 rebounds, 2 assists. And also, like I said, Paige Bueckers, she had 12 points, 7 rebounds, and 10 assists. So she was setting up the table, and Azzi Fudd was benefiting from it. And let's go and look at South Carolina, man. South Carolina, Mwaja Fulali, she comes off the bench, but she shot the ball 8 times. She was 4-8. She shot 50%, but she only had 11 points, man. She really couldn't get it going, man. She didn't benefit in any other category. She had 1 rebound, 0 assists, but Chloe Kitts, man, she was disappointing today. She only had 6 points, 5 rebounds. And Raven Johnson, man, 0 points, man. Everybody likes to hone in on Raven Johnson and say that she's an excellent defender. But me personally, Raven Johnson needs to stay in school, man. And she needs to hone in on her offensive game, because even though she's a defensive player, but you got to at least give me something offensively and stuff like that. But, South Carolina got dominated at home, man. UConn put that belt to ass, man. They beat them 87-58, man. And, they absolutely obliterated them. But everybody likes to say things about Raven Johnson as a defender. She'll lock you up, put the seatbelt strap on you, man. But if Raven Johnson is out there and she's out there offensively and she is a liability offensively, she's not giving you nothing. She's not giving you no input. And I think that's what's going to hurt South Carolina down, coming in the stretch run, going into the tournament play. But I still think they'll be there. But I don't think South Carolina is going to repeat. They got some holes and some glips in their offense that they need to fix. I don't know what was going on today, man. I really don't. It just seemed like South Carolina was out of it. I think UConn has heard all the noise. I think Paige Bueckers has heard all the noise. I think Azzi Fudd has also heard the chatter about her being injured. And, she come out and she, from start to finish, man, Azzi Fudd was locked in. She was engaged. And, South Carolina just couldn't respond to nothing that, UConn did. When South Carolina went on that run, Gino Oriental called a timeout. And then outside of that timeout, UConn came back and responded, went on their own 10-0 run, and went into halftime with the 22-point lead. And like I said, whatever Paige Bueckers said at halftime in that locker room, that lit a fire up on the Azzi Fudd, and she came out and dominated. And that's what I'm talking about. You never take your foot off the gas. When you got a team down, you got them down by 22, man, you got to keep putting the foot on the gas. It's never no let up, man. But what we saw today, man, that goes to show why, Paige Bueckers is probably, one of the best all-around ball players that we've seen in college basketball. Now, she becomes the 3rd UConn Husky with all the points, the rebounds, and assists behind Maya Moore and Dana Taurasi. And she just etched her name and, etched her name even more. You know what I'm saying? But that goes to show that Paige Bueckers is one to be reckoned with, man. And outside of her and Juju, man, they both are great players. And they're going to make a name for themselves, especially Paige Bueckers coming up in this WNBA draft, and also when Juju gets her chance to go into the WNBA. But outside of Juju and Paige, they probably the most all-around skilled ball players in college basketball today. So you guys let me know what y'all think about today's podcast. I see everybody in the comment section, #salute. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger, and we're going to catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's